welcome to this fantastic live stream that I have with you every 2 weeks. And what happened this time? This time it's a unique time in these live streams that we have, because we had this event, that conference, the Professional Speakers Association of Spain did that convention. That's the right word. Yes, that was the word that I was missing. Yeah. Did that convention on Saturday. So that also inspired us to have today's topic as the topic of the day, how professional speaking can help you in life and in your career. So we are full of ideas and full of thoughts about professional speaking.
Absolutely. I think, hi, Alex. I think this convention definitely inspired us. We saw some amazing speakers, and we learned a bunch of new things. And I think we walked away from it with lots of energy and inspiration, because public speaking, and I think it's Andrew Bryant from the Professional Speaking Association in Spain that said, you don't need to be a professional speaker, but everybody needs to know how to speak professionally. And I think speaking professionally is about delivering your message with clarity, confidence, and impact. And that's definitely something that's important for everybody, no matter what your line of work is or no matter what you do in life.
But let me be here the advocate of the devil. That's an expression, right?
You love being the advocate of the devil.
Let me say something that the little devil in my head told me today. But if that is the case, Maria, you don't think that part of the authenticity of somebody fades away because of his attempt to speak in a way that is not natural to him, to speak professionally? What do you think?
No, I mean, so I think it doesn't mean speaking professionally doesn't mean not speaking authentically. It's about learning how to do it right. It's like anything in life, it's like a muscle. You need to practice, and you need to learn the foundations and the rules and the tips that are going to make you better at speaking in public, delivering your message, being clear. Not everybody is able to clearly express what they think, transform their thoughts into words. And the people who can do that in a very succinct manner are the ones that manage to communicate better. And communicating is something that's really important, and it's something that's going to get you what you want. It's going to help you inspire people. It's going to help you motivate people. People are going to take you seriously if you're able to express clearly what you're saying. So it doesn't have to be about speaking professionally. It's not. I think it's not the word. The word is more about speaking in a way that sounds. That seems like you know what you're doing, right? Like anything.
I agree with you. Okay, and for me, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference when I hear people speaking to me professionally. I agree with you. It doesn't take away the authenticity.
No.
Quite the contrary. You can be authentic and speak professionally.
And be eloquent. I think the word is more eloquent than speak professionally. It's being eloquent. It's being clear, concise, confident,
Yes. Well, the confidence, it's a different animal, let's say. It's a different, let's say, ingredient of speaking professionally. For me, confidence is king. Confidence is more important than the content of what you are saying. But I mean, let's not go to the confidence topic now. But I think speaking professionally as a receiver of the professional talker, it's really, maybe I can tell you, it's 50% of convincing me to follow you, to buy your product, to work with you together.
Yeah.
From the other side, when I pitch my clients or when I have professional conversations, I again feel is what brings the connection,
Mm,
what creates the rapport, um, and what at the end closes the deal.
mhm,
Why? Why? Because talking professionally, one of the, let's say, of the nuances of talking professionally is using industry jargon. By knowing which is the wording that your target group is using, the
mhm.
acronyms, you uh, immediately create confidence. Um, you bring the other person closer and you create the necessary rapport that is needed in order to have a fruitful communication that is going to lead somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you're building credibility and authority by doing that. You establish
Yes,
yourself as the person who's knowledgeable and competent, and therefore people will take you more seriously and they'll respect your ideas because it's
of
you've,
course.
as you said, you've built trust and you've positioned yourself as someone who knows what they're talking about.
Of course. But let me say here also another thing. Let's move a little bit away from the talking professionally and talk about the topic about talking talking in general in a specific way. English is obviously not my first language, but I can tell you in Greek, which is my first language, I can tell immediately somebody's background, somebody's life, let's say, point of view. I can assume his beliefs just by hearing him talk.
Mm.
Uh, Now, in other languages, that is for me more difficult. I don't say it's zero, no, but it's more difficult. The English speaking world, it's a very big world, Maria, because it's not England
Yeah.
only.
Really?
Germany is easier again because you have a closed world, but in the English speaking world goes from UK to Ireland to India and to USA and to many other places, right? So
Australia, all around the
Australia
world,
and
beyond.
how the language and the body language are being interpreted, I think also among English speakers it's challenging maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of intercultural nuances, right? When you're, and that's why it's important to be clear when you speak, because there are all those biases, these different cultures that have different rules and that you might not know, and then you're filling the gap with your own biases and presumptions.
Yes,
And by being clear in the way you speak, you're reducing the risk of misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and you're articulating something in a clear way that the person understands. What you're trying to say to them, what your expectations are, or what are the actions you're trying to get them to take.
yes, but the more specific and the more let's say the more scientific your topic is
Yeah,
and the more specific maybe technically
yeah,
you are talking, then the less common are those mistakes because science is a common language.
hmm.
But in the world of sales and leadership and business, which is kind of a wild west,
I need my hat.
eh,
I need my hat.
yes, because there are a lot of dreamers and a lot of different people that come from different backgrounds. It requires more skills to be able to handle um, something correctly.
Yeah, it's also about adaptability and being able to handle tough questions. I mean, definitely in leadership, I was just having a conversation with someone earlier on. It's about managing unexpected challenges, other people, adjusting your tone to different personalities and your audience. You're not going to be speaking the same way in a boardroom as you would in with your team, or when you're trying to resolve conflicts. So definitely it's about being, adaptable and flexible.
And maybe possibly what is going to be seen as a very positive aspect in one group, it might be perceived as a weakness
Absolutely.
in the other group, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's quite complicated, and I don't have also an answer to give on that. I say to my guys, follow your gut feeling, whatever.
I'd say if you want to be a good speaker, you first have to be a really good listener.
Yes.
And so speaking, communication, like the biggest communication skill you can have is to be a good speaker, is really to be able to listen to others so that you can respond in the right way.
To listen with the intent to understand the
Yeah,
others.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I cannot agree more on that. I was raised in an environment and in a country where everybody thinks what he's going to reply and not to listen, try to understand.
Yeah. It's
And
frustrating.
huh?
It's frustrating when people do that.
Absolutely, it's frustrating and doesn't go nowhere because if the other person doesn't want to, first of all, if you don't listen to understand, how you will help? That is one thing. Secondly, if you talk to somebody that he's thinking what to reply to you, where is this conversation going to go? I mean, it's well, my advice would be go and meditate. And
Yeah, because speaking is also about building relationships, and it's the foundation of any relationships. Communicating clearly, so it helps you connect and engage and build rapport with the people you're with, whether it's your colleagues, your clients, your stakeholders, your family.
there are people that you meet people that immediately there's a connection,
Yeah,
and this connection,
yeah,
I think, many times it comes from the way you speak,
yeah,
because the way you speak, it shows it's not only what you say with words,
yeah,
but has a much profounder and deeper meaning than just the stated, let's say, the spoken words.
yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that is what brings the connection, the warmth of your voice,
Mhm.
the empathy that you show, um, the different nuances of your spoken uh, words
Yeah.
bring there the connection. I think it plays a big role.
Yeah, agreed. And to go back to what you were talking about, being authentic, you can totally be authentic in a professional way. It doesn't you don't need to leave your who you are at the door when you go to work and become this robot that speaks in a certain way and presents in a certain way. And I know that some people, when they go into like the corporate world or the business world, they feel like they have to wear this sort of shield or mask, or I don't know what it is that makes them look more professional. And I don't think that you need to do that. You can totally be yourself and speak professionally without losing who you are, and keeping that empathy, that warmth, that personality that you're. And I think that's what will make you stand out from all the others that are actually not wanting to bring themselves completely to the table.
Yes, well, that is, first of all, I would say there are organizations and organizations, right? So I guess it's not the same to work in a marketing agency as to work in a law firm, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or to be part of the Vatican or be part of, I don't know.
That's a
I
funny
guess there's a big,
interesting example.
interesting example, exactly. It's a big gap of
Yeah,
the expectations and the freedom somebody can take.
yeah,
Um, it's also cultural, right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Um, Now, diversity brings enriches
Yeah.
the enriches companies. There was an example that we did at the university when I was much younger than I am now. So it was an example of there was like a theoretical, let's say, scenario where you were, let's say, in an island, and you should choose from a list of 50 different items, the 5 items that would increase your probability to
Survive.
survive, let's say, right?
Okay. And
And if you took that test as a person, so
yeah.
you chose, so me, I take it and I fill the correct items, and you, Maria, you fill the correct items. And then we sit in groups of, let's say, of 5 different people, and together we decide which items are better. The results on the second example were way better and way more correct than
Mm.
the individual results.
Right. Yeah.
And the more diversity you have in a company, so
Mm.
you have from multiple cultural backgrounds,
Mm.
from younger people but older people, women, men, I don't know, very mixed
Yeah.
environment,
Yeah.
then the options and the ideas
Mm.
are wider
Yeah.
and better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think it's all these things, all these things, they matter.
Yeah.
Now,
No,
yeah,
sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. So now the authenticity.
Yeah.
Well, I have to admit that sometimes it's for me kind of very difficult to maintain myself uh, very professional in a very strict professional environment.
Okay.
I don't feel myself, and if that happens, that's not a good sign.
What do you find difficult?
Well, if I want to, if everybody follows the prescribed etiquette on how to behave,
Mm-hmm.
right? From dress code to the way they talk, they all agree in certain things because everybody wants to be part of the group, and so on and so on. So that somehow I see it as a peer pressure that requires me to suppress my real self,
Uh-huh.
which could probably say 10 things stupid, but it might say also 10 correct things.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
suppress it
Yeah. It's yeah.
for to in order to adapt to this group that you want or need or must adapt to.
Mm-hmm.
It's the example. It's this famous American author, what is the name? Sinuk, the Start with Why, the guy that wrote the book Start with
Oh,
Why.
Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek,
Yeah.
exactly. Simon Sinek. He said that it's very common when they ask a question in a boardroom,
Mm-hmm.
or they are talking about a topic that nobody understands. Nobody says, "Well,
No,
I don't understand," because everybody thinks
is afraid. Yeah, that
it's
everybody else understands, and that they're the only one that doesn't.
yes, and no one understands.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have these communication issues
Mm-hmm.
in professional.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important to learn how to speak, right? And to learn how to speak up in these kind of, not be afraid, have that confidence, to speak up and put your ideas forward, and be convincing and inspiring and motivating others to listen to you and see your vision, and maybe support whatever idea you're putting forward. That's why learning to do that in the right way is important, especially at work, because it's the people who in a anywhere, the people that stand up and talk are the ones that stand out. They're the ones that people notice, and can be in a good or bad way, but they're the ones that get visible. They get visibility. So if you want to, elevate your career in a company, being a good communicator, being able to stand up and speak in front of an audience in an eloquent and concise way, clear way, is going to open doors and create new opportunities for you in your career, because people will notice you and they'll think, oh wow, this person, like, I never noticed them. I didn't see them in that department before. And it's a great way of having opportunities in your career, and putting yourself out there. Maybe it's stepping outside your comfort zone a little bit, but the more you do it, the more confident you become, and the better you'll get at it. It's like a muscle again. The more you do it, the more you practice, you become good. So it's definitely important to do it as soon as possible. And don't start me about why they're not teaching this is in school, but learning how to speak in front of others and speak in front of a group and convey in a clear way your ideas is an amazing skill. And
Yes.
being able to do it is definitely something I think everybody should learn, whether you're in a company or you're in your own business. As an entrepreneur, you need to pitch in front of people. All these things are important. And even if you're not even doing any of these things, it's just a great skill to communicate with others and to make sure that they understand you.
They said in the convention that there's bigger percentage of people are afraid to speak publicly than to die. So that is
it's the number one fear.
It's the number one fear.
Public speaking is the number one fear before dying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's before dying. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was even more than that.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
It's what you say, Maria. Public speaking. What happens? Once I had a video where it went somehow viral. Let's say, okay. And one of the
good or bad way?
Huh?
In a good or a bad way?
It went viral on, I think on I wouldn't say a bad way, but it triggered like the common belief, let's say. So I received most of the comments were comments of haters that didn't agree on what I was saying, but I expected that.
Okay.
So anyway, so one of the haters down that wrote me because I received like a ton of
oops
messages how stupid I am and all that stuff.
Wow.
So one of the guys said, stop doing that, take the video down, you expose yourself. You expose now listen, why that is what he said has a very deep meaning. Why? Because let's say you stand up and you say something and you expose yourself. That is the greatest fear of everybody, right?
Yeah. Well.
Okay, what is the alternative? What is the alternative? I will tell you what is the alternative. The alternative is sit down,
say nothing,
shut up, and don't risk it. Where are you going to end if you don't stand up? Nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's very important, because you stand up and you say whatever you say and everybody thinks you are stupid and you turn red. First of all, embrace the failure. You learned something. Secondly, all your mistakes, if you are so wrong, they did one thing for you, very positive. They make you very sympathetic because at least you tried.
Yeah.
And then you learned a lesson. And the next time you will stand up, you will be better. So embrace failure and think always, what is the alternative in life? You can sit on the side and life is going to pass, and in some point it's going to end. And you didn't do anything of the things you wanted to do. Or you stand up and you do that and you might fail. So what?
You're clearly very passionate about it.
Yes, I am very passionate because I see a lot of opportunity being that is being missed, and a lot of people that they had huge opportunities.
Yeah,
They don't take advantage because they are afraid of being judged, of listening these silly comments. You will get exposed. They're going to say this about you. Anyway, even if you are God Himself, you are not going to get 100%.
no,
So always there will be people that are going to comment negatively. Don't let that
stop you.
be don't let that stop you.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah,
And if you are authentic, if you speak on a specific way, you might can use that as an advantage.
Mhm.
Um, be open to criticism. Um, be
Feedback.
open, yeah. Be open to make jokes about yourself. That's the, the, the basis of comedy and of humor
Yeah,
is
self-deprecation. Yeah,
exactly make yourself a little bit the fool. So it breaks the ice, it brings everybody closer,
yeah,
and take advantage of that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody has to start, and I think it's interesting you said that, because the other day someone did something very brave, and someone who is much more experienced came up and started criticizing the way they'd done it and giving them loads of, I wouldn't say constructive, but critical feedback, and which totally, crushed that person's confidence and made them feel like really bad about what they done, when actually they should have felt really, really, proud of themselves because they actually did it. And yes, is there room for improvement? Of course. Who has done something for the first time perfectly?
No
Nobody.
one.
And certainly not that person who went and gave the feedback. So I think people need to remember that we all have to start somewhere, and you need to be gracious and supportive of people, taking that risk and doing it, and speaking professionally, speaking in front of people. Yes, the first time you do it, you'll be crap, and probably the second and third time too. But the more you do it, the better you'll get. And eventually, at some point, you'll get confident and you'll get clear and you'll get concise and you'll understand how to convey your message and you'll understand how to engage the public. But it all takes time. And nobody who's doing this really well has woken up one morning and miraculously, I can't even say the word, done it really well. So we need to, you just need to start, basically.
And I think it's a very good way to when you put yourself up to speak like in an audience, right? You strip yourself away from I mean, you present yourself, or you should at least present yourself as you are,
Yeah, it's
with your
vulnerable.
flaws. And if you do so, then that is a key to confidence. If you say, "Listen, that's the way I am," there's no point where they can hurt you because you already are open about your, okay, I am short, or I speak with this accent, or I stutter. Okay, that's the way, guys, I am. That's the way it is. Now let's go to the next point.
It's about being vulnerable.
Being vulnerable and showing vulnerability, first of all, it makes you sympathetic. People can relate with you because none of them, it's the Superman that pretends to be.
Yeah.
And thirdly, it gives you confidence because they cannot hit you nowhere. You say, that's the way I am. That's my English. It's with mistakes. It's with that accent. I am fat. I am thin. I don't know. I have all these things.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Hmm.
Okay? Now
Yeah.
I have some important things to say, and you say what you have to say. And I mean, yes. And confidence, Maria, it's the superpower.
Yeah.
It's the superpower. It's more important than content. It's more important than many things.
Yeah. But it takes time to build. You don't, I mean, unless some people might be extremely confident, but most of people have to build that confidence. So it's about taking action and doing the little things that scare you and building that confidence to get to where you feel.
The people that build the confidence, Maria, so the ones that are introvert and unconfident and build the confidence, they are the real tank in the room, because the ones that are confident from nature, many times they are, it's a empty pin. How you call it? An empty pin. You hit it and makes dong, 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 dong. Because it's only superficial confidence without the background.
Yeah.
But if you build your confidence, then you are the real deal.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to chat with you, Maria.
Thank you.
Like always.
As always with you. And so when you were talking about, stripping and being naked, it was figuratively, right? We're not encouraging anybody to do naked speeches.
No, it's a
public announcements.
Naked in terms of not physically. If somebody wants to strip literally, then
we're not encouraging that kind of behavior.
No, we are not encouraging, but again, I wouldn't have a problem. So if he feels nice.
Okay, for anybody who's interested. Okay, Alex, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.